Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news updates from all over the province. This is News at 12. For the local scene, the provincial government of Albay has reported that over 96% of the 2024 barangay subsidy has been downloaded. According to recent data from the Provincial Treasurer's Office, 96.81% or 697 out of the 720 Albay barangays have already received financial assistance for the last calendar year. Of the total, 157 of 172 barangays from the three cities have received yearly assistance. The same assistance has already been extended to the 148 barangays in the first, 149 in the second, and 243 in the third. The PTO was assured that the subsidy for the remaining 23 barangays will be downloaded before the end of the week. Meanwhile, the office also assured that the barangay aid for calendar year 2025 will be downloaded before the government spending ban and the start of the campaign period for local positions on March 28, 2025. It can be recalled that Acting Governor Baby Glenda Ongbongao recently signed Memorandum Circular No. 429 Series of 2024, which outlines the guidelines for implementing aid for the 721 barangay programs. This memorandum directs the download of funds to the barangay bank accounts. The directive aims to ensure a more efficient and systematic allocation of funds for the barangay's developmental projects. Meanwhile, more than 20 proposed activities by the Department of Education Schools Division Office Albay have been exempted from the ban on the release of public funds in connection with the May 2025 national and local elections. During the Provincial School Board meeting, Maritesi Aureliana, the Special Education Fund focal person for DepEd STO Albay, stated that the office had submitted a request letter in anticipation of the election ban on conducting certain activities. The request was approved following a recommendation from the COMELEC's Law Department. Proposed activities granted exemptions include the 2025 Palarong Panlalawigan, Palarong Bicol, Alternative Learning System graduation, and the Brigada Eskwela kick-off ceremony. However, events attended by elective officials and or candidates may be punishable under the law if they promote or facilitate partisan political activities or induce anyone or the public in general to vote for or against any candidate under the guise of social welfare services. In the national scene, the Presidential Communications Office or PSO acknowledges the need for a regulatory body for social media to combat fake news on this platform. During a news briefing in Malacanang, Palace News Officer and PCO Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro emphasized that a regulatory authority is required to curb social media abuse. Castro also understood how urgent it was to cooperate with Congress to hasten the enactment of legislation to combat fake news and troll armies. Castro stated that views supported by legal data will be upheld as a component of free expression. However, statements containing offensive language or unsubstantiated material should not be accepted. In another story, Malacanang welcomed the drop in the country's budget deficit last year and attributed the reduction to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s effective stewardship and the efforts of the administration's economic team. When government spending exceeds receipts, there is a budget deficit. This is a crucial sign of a nation's financial well-being, particularly in terms of government revenue and expenditures. Amena Pangandaman, the country's budget secretary, announced on February 28 that its 2024 budget deficit had decreased, saying it was better than the government had anticipated. Pangandaman's report came after the Bureau of the Treasury's Cash Operations Report, which described the national government's fiscal performance for 2024, was released. According to Pangandaman, it was the lowest rate since the epidemic started in 2020, and it was a significant improvement over the 2023 deficit of 6.2%. another story, House Women and Gender Equality Chairperson and Bataan Representative Geraldine Roman said it was difficult to determine whether Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment schedule would work in or her favor or against her. According to Roman, the senator judges will have the last say and the prosecution and defense will have a chance to make their points. House Prosecutor Joel Chua and Representative Paulo Ortega V of La Union expressed fears that any delay could hurt the prosecution, which House Deputy Majority Leader Paulo Ortega V reiterated. After 215 members signed the complaint, the House of Representatives impeached Duterte on February 5, reaching the one-third barrier needed to send it straight to the Senate, and from that time on, there are now 245 signatures. Makabayan Black opposition lawmakers, however, disagreed, arguing that impeachment is a unique procedure that shouldn't be handled like regular legislation. Representative Arlene Brosas of the Gabriela Party has questioned Escudero's position, claiming that impeachment entails an essential inquiry of an official's suitability for office. Representative Raul Manuel of the Kabataan Party list urged the public to pressure officials to take action, accusing the administration of evading accountability. For the news outside the country, the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson arrived at the southern city of Busan in South Korea on Sunday as a show of force, according to South Korean Navy. According to the Navy, the visit was a part of the ironclad U.S. commitment to extend a deterrence and to demonstrate readiness by the Seoul-Washington military alliance against North Korea. The nuclear-powered Theodore Roosevelt came to Busan in June to participate in joint military exercises, marking the first time a U.S. aircraft carrier has visited the nation. The carrier's arrival follows North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's directive to be fully prepared to deploy its nuclear attack capacity and his supervision of a strategic cruise missile test launched last month, according to state media. In another story, President Donald Trump amended 2 executive orders on Sunday to exclude low-value shipments from the tariffs set to go into effect on imports from Canada and Mexico. The action would indicate that the White House is committed to implementing the tariffs, which were first put on hold for 30 days to allow the nations to negotiate. The change affects 2 executive orders that sought to stop the flow of illegal substances into the U.S. Until the necessary infrastructure is in place to tax those goods, imports from Canada and Mexico priced at less than $800 are now exempted. According to the modifications, once the system is established, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick can begin imposing taxes on certain imports. And that ends our news at 12 for today, March 4, 2025. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. Thanks to our News at 12 writers, Daniel Racyon and LJ Lorejo. And on the technical side, we have Richard Bobis. This has been your anchor, Ara Espiritu. Thank you for subscribing.